Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center. I'm delighted to join with Kai. He's come all the way from Canada to be with us with her fantastic film, Flames. Let's take a look at the clip. Firstly, welcome to the New Filmmakers LA family.
Thank you. It's been such a pleasure and it's been so welcoming.
Oh, good. I'm really glad to hear that, honestly, because it's you know, it's hard when you come to a new city. You're like, what is this place? And so I'm glad it felt welcoming for you. Thank you for Flames. My life has changed now around anything with Flames. Tell us a little about, just tell us the synopsis of the story.
So initially the story, it was developed off the idea of open flame candles because I have a deep fear of them. But after analyzing just like the fire element, I wanted to go into more of like the spiritual aspects, the romanticism, and the destruction of fire in itself, because it is a very destructive element in comparison to some of the other elements.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, really fascinating. It's like you kind of brought it back to school and we just learned about the different elements, but like fire's like, you know, it's kind of the most, you know, intense one of them all. Listen, I empathize and share with you on the open flame thing. Like I love candles, but I'm also in fear of ever leaving them on or my cat's tail going into it. So I get it. No, thank you for sharing that story. So when was that kind of, so obviously you kind of developed this story and then you developed into it. How did you kind of go into sort of like your research about how to kind of extend the story into about all kinds of flames?
It comes down to, I've had some previous films that were more like on some of the other elements like water and all of that. So I had a bit of like a in-depth research on some of the other elements. So I knew how to approach fire, but I also come from the Canadian pagan community, and so there's more of a spiritual aspect to elements as well. And I have a lot of fond memories with fire itself. Like there's a lot of gathering around fire, and like a lot of the rituals are done with a fire pit and like offerings to the gods with the fire. So I wanted to include the spiritual aspect of fire as well, and like I said, the romanticism, because a lot of people romanticize fire and they use it for like dates and like making scenery more pretty and all of that. So I want to approach that as well.
Yeah, you certainly did that, because I was going to ask you where the inspiration come from. So it's amazing it's part of your family history as well as just, you know, kind of the romance behind it as well. I really love your style of animation. It's really amazing. How did you go about like the kind of style of animation? How do you go about what were you kind of looking for? Because, you know, you did a really great job.
I work a lot in traditional medium outside of animation. So a lot of my animation tends to focus on a more realistic aspect as a result of that. It takes a lot of different research. I had a lot of videos on fire, I swear.
Really?
My FBI agent probably thinks I'm a pyromaniac. And the way like burns with different materials like paper and like fire on metal. And so just a lot of research on how fire spreads. And then my film was actually my final film for my university. So the program I was using is very accepting for more of a traditional type of workflow, since it initially started off with like the paper animation, so like hand drawing on paper. So yeah, that's where the style comes from. It looks more like a drawing, I would say, than some other animations.
So this was your obviously final film at the university. So how long did you get given to kind of make and create this?
9 months.
9 months. Yeah. No, animation's a lot of work.
It is. I heard someone yesterday mention how they're so happy to finally be done with student films. And I have to say, I think I agree with them.
You ready?
Because like I just want to spend more time perfecting each little part of my film, which you don't really get the chance to when you're in school. You have to like, it's more about learning how to do it than learning how to make it perfect. So
Well, so that's really interesting. So now that you've obviously come into a close of, you know, working in student films now, what's next on the what kind of work do you want to work on next?
Yeah, so my program actually is geared to allowing us to become independent directors. I'm not too sure if I want to be an independent director. Like, I do have some ideas on future films I want to work on, and I actually have some contacts for those films. Like I said, I'm connected with the Montreal pagan community, and I know some groundkeepers, and I wanted to give some focus to the pagan community, so I might do a film on that.
That's
But I
great.
also really enjoy just helping other people with their films. So stepping back from the lead and just being a worker. So I'm seeing if I can try and help some of my friends with their films.
That's nice. You got a good collaborative efforts as everything, isn't it, as well? What was it like seeing your film up there on the big screen? How was that experience for you?
So that was actually the second time. The first time I noticed there were some post-production mistakes, which I corrected before submitting
You
here
did.
to the NFMLA.
No one noticed. Don't worry. It's like it's just you're a filmmaker, so you always notice these things.
I always get really nervous about watching my film because, like I said, it does touch on some of my own fears. So, especially hearing the fire alarm, I don't enjoy it.
No, yeah, yeah.
It's very striking, and I mean that's what I wanted from my film, but it's really hard for me to watch it. But I know that I achieved what I wanted to as a result too.
Yeah, no, you really did, and then like it's again it's I think it's one of those things that until you've made a film that you kind of take for granted the element of fire, the romance, how it can be destructive, how it can be spiritual, all these
Especially
elements.
with like global warming,
Yeah.
there's so many. In the East, we don't talk about it as much, but like forest fires are a big thing here in the West.
Huge here too, yeah.
And like it does affect people in the East, but we don't, there's hardly any care. And I feel like we need more care for that because it's destroying habitats, it's destroying people's lives, it's
Yeah.
destroying a lot of things. So
I'm so
I
glad you
really
said
like
that,
deeply
yeah.
feel bad for the West. Like I actually applied my film towards some other programs that like if you win money you have to give money to charities, and all my charities are going to like wildfires and helping those
You're
people.
so good, Kai. That's so nice. Especially, I mean, it's always nice to do, it's special that you're doing it anyway, but considering that you're not like, literally affected by it, you're helping other people as well who are, because it's definitely a serious thing and we can't underestimate. Global warming is a real, the most dangerous thing. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. What was the hardest thing about making this project?
Definitely the timeline.
Timeline.
I had to really like basically step back from all of the things I like doing to just really focus on my film because animation takes a lot of work. So there was no more sports.
Yeah.
I'm going back into sports this year, but
Yay.
I had to step back from my sports. Also, as a student, you're not really getting paid to do anything, so I had to find time to do a job so I could keep living.
Yes, yeah, all those things.
And then there's like also classes you have to do, so it's just time management was
It's a lot.
it's a lot. Like I usually like to visit my grandparents once every week, and I only got to see them once every month. So
Well, at least they can see here's what you're working on, so they
yeah,
understand, right?
when I
Yeah.
showed them my film, they were like, "Oh, now we know why." Like,
Yeah.
that takes a lot of
Aw.
work.
Aw,
So
that's so sweet. So for any as an animator going into the big world, about how exciting the next chapter is for you, I'm looking forward to
yeah, I'm
seeing
really
all your
excited.
films. How you feeling good about it now? Yeah. But what is there for any filmmakers, any particularly maybe future animators or people want to get into animation, or any sort of form of advice you have?
Really explore the different medias in animation because it's a very broad umbrella term. There's stop motion, there's 3D, there's 2D, there's on paper, sand, play, lights. And then also just go to everything. Like I had a professor tell me, say yes, figure it out later. Accept everything that's coming your way, make connections, talk with people, and don't be afraid to show your film. Like some people might not enjoy it, and that's okay. And sometimes your message may not come out clearly, but that's a really good learning experience to just try and adapt to that and fix your film so that way your message that you want to get out there is being received the way you want it to.
That's such good advice. And is there a particular style of animation you enjoy the most?
I really enjoy the 2D digital, even though I only learned how to do digital when I got into animation.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy on paper, but I have some friends who do sand and charcoal, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Like, you guys should really pay attention to that form. It's so stunning.
It's stunning what all animators do, but I mean, I love the vision you get. It's always fascinating to me, like you're literally making something that didn't actually exist until you create this animated piece. So
it's a wonderful medium for just breaking boundaries, because you're not limited to the human body. You can exaggerate a few things.
Yeah, that's so right. That's so right. Well, you said obviously you want to go and support people in other projects and things, but is there a specific thing you're going to work on next?
Like I said, I'm hoping to get in contact again with the groundskeeper for the vegan community.
Yeah.
Initially, I did want to do my film off of that, because there is quite a spiritual. It's like you have to experience it for yourself.
Yeah.
But I realized that it's more of like either a master's degree or like independent film, because it's going to take a lot of work, a lot of research, and a lot of sound equipment to get all of that. So
well, I know you can do
now
it.
that I'm out of school,
Yes.
I can definitely do it, and I'm hoping to.
Yeah, and it's going to be so great to do something that is personal to you, that you can bring into a film, and everyone else can get to relate and experience it as well. So, well, listen, thank you, Kai, for coming all the way from Canada, our lovely neighbors, to be here. Thank you for Flames. I'm looking forward to the next project. Thank you so much very much, Kai.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.